So you know who I am, what's the first one. Just a quick reminder, the project started almost 15 years ago. It involved people from all around the world, and a very important one that we haven't said yet, but you have understood it. Koha is not a project that is funded by a major big company or a big foundation or something like that. It's a software that is developed by a lot of volunteers from all around the world, and everything is based on volunteers, not a foundation. Okay, and we will see maybe later that this is sometimes this is a challenge to manage this kind of group. When you develop a software, you face two needs. Well, when you develop an open source software and when you have people that are volunteers, you face two opposite needs. This one is your need. There is one thing that is fun with libraries is that usually women are librarians and men are IT people. So this is a woman, this is a man. Is there an IT woman here? One. Yay, joy. Is there a librarian, a man that is librarian? Yes, one, you see. And both are from the US. So the IT person, the contributor, mostly want to do fun things. And it comes with fun things. The developer usually dislike to bother with many constraints. On the other hand, the user, you have various needs, functional needs. You want something that is stable, that does not change every day, because your process of using a software is your work is to manage a library. Your work is not to play with the software. The IT people, his job is to play with the software by developing it. As a user, you also want a predictable future. It means you want to know what will happen in the next weeks, months, or years. And as a user, you don't care of technical problems. Well, you would like not to care about it. So the question is how to cultivate them and how to build a way of having a software that is moving, is evolving, and doing something that pleases both users and developers. I will try to answer this question and to present the Koha community. There is more than one way to do it. There is not only one way to manage an open source community. If you ask someone from another community, they will explain how they work. I will explain here how the Koha community works, the Koha organization. It is not the best one, it is not the worst one, it is one. Okay? Other open source choose a different one, and last point, it can evolve, nothing is written in stone. As we have said previously with Chris, before version 3.2, we had a process. Since version 3.2, we have a new process. Maybe you are wondering why is it important to talk about the Koha community and the Koha organization. This is something very, very important. No one until now explained what is open source. I assume you all know what is open source. Yes? Am I right? So when you want to say or choose or use an open source software, the first question you will try to have an answer to is, does this software do what I need from a functional point of view? But there is a second question that is probably as important as the first one. This second question is, how does this software evolve? How is this community organized? Is it a strong community? Is it a small community? Because if you choose a software coming from a very small community, then you must know it. maybe that's the good choice for you, but you must know that you are facing a small community and maybe it will disappear. But if it's really what this software that you want, you can choose it, but you must be aware that you are choosing a software that has a very small community. Some community are very how to say that? Sorry. Some community have a main contributor, a main company or main foundation, and you must follow what this company or foundation decide. Some, like the Kohacon community, have various orientation, and both options have pro and cons. Okay, both. There is not a good option. Otherwise, everybody would use it. But you must be aware of what you are facing. So we said previously, from version 1 to version 3.2, we were releasing new version of Koha using a term that is feature-based release. Feature-based release. It means we were saying in the next version we will add this and that and this and that. When will it come? We don't know, because we are all volunteers, so it will come when it will be ready. So the side effect of feature-based release is it can be delayed. And the version 3.2 has been delayed by more than 1 year. In fact, it's more 18 months than one year, because of all the problems with libline, etc., etc. Developers were distracted from developing, so we lose a lot of time. So libraries were waiting for this version and asking when will it come, and the only answer we could say is when it will be ready. And that can be very frustrating. So we decided after version 3.2 to switch to time-based release, which means we say every 6 months there will be a release. You can be sure of that. But what you are not sure is what will this version include. Okay? So every November 22nd or 25 or 20 something and May 20 something, you will see a new release being published. Sometimes you wait for a feature and it is not in this release, but don't worry, it will maybe it will be, hopefully it will be in the next 6 months release. I already said that, but I repeat, you don't have to upgrade every 6 months, you can skip release and do 2 or 3 major release in one go. Okay? One thing that maybe you are wondering is we presented the version this morning with Chris, and we talked about 3.2, 3.4, 3.6, 3.8, 3.10, 3.12, 3.14, 3.16. Maybe you are wondering why there is some missing numbers. Because the rule is that this is odd or even. Even numbers are stable versions, and we have odd numbers for development process. Okay, so if you use Koha and you go to about, you see in the staff interface there is a plus about, and you will see the version, and you will see something like 3.12.06.0009. Okay, 3.12 is the version. 0.6 it is the 6th maintenance release of the 3.12, and the number after is the technical number for developers. Okay. So 3.1, if you have a version that is called 3.11, it is strange. It means someone has set up a development version on your server. Overall, time-based release is a good thing. I really think for libraries it is really a good thing to have time-based release, because you know that we have a version. Roughly, we try to figure out what we will put in it. Maybe for some features it is not released, so it is not included, but we try to do our best. And one important thing is something important for you is not in the release. You can ask your IT team to apply the patch, to apply the feature to have it locally on your server. It is not included, but it is available on Bugzilla, etc. I will explain later. But you can always apply something to get a feature you really need, you want now. Okay? So, how does this community work to release something every 6 months? I forget to say that every month, well, we said it already this morning, but every month there is a maintenance release. So every month you get 3.12 point something, 3.14 point something, 3.16 point something, because we support those 3 releases now. So how does it work? First of all, it's a matter of people. So I will explain and show the different roles there is in the community. Anyone can be involved by submitting new code, by answering questions, of course, or answering questions, by doing translation or things like that. But there are some people that have an important role that is an elected role. The first of all is First of all is the release manager. The release manager is the person responsible of the next release. Okay, so he's taking care of all what is submitted and must be included into Koha to create the next version. The next version will be 3.18. Okay. Another very important person is the release maintainer. He is responsible for the next stable version. For maintaining the current version, so he will release one new maintenance version every month. Currently, we maintain 3 versions, and I forgot to update this slide: 3.12, 3.14, and 3.16. Okay. Another responsibility is the QA manager. QA is a process where, in fact, it is a team of QA people. But the QA is looking at what is submitted, not from a functional point of view, but from a technical point of view. Because we are playing with the software that we want to make evolve on the long term. So we must take care of what is included. Does it improve the source code, or does it clean the source code, or could it be problematic in the next month or years? We have a lot of what we call coding guidelines. It means there is a lot of valid way to develop a software, but in our coding guidelines, every project has, well, should have. The coding guideline says when you set up a new feature, or when you create some code, you must do it like this and like that. Just one example. You have a function inside the software, for example, creating a new patron. The coding guidelines say you must call your this function add patron. You must not call it create patron. Otherwise, you will get software where sometimes create patron, sometimes it add issue, sometimes it will be new item. And when you read the software, it's very hard to understand. So with a coding guideline, you say when you create something new, you call it add something. Okay, internally, that's something librarians you will never see. But inside the software for developers, we know that creating a new thing is called add thing. Okay. another role is, so we have a page on the wiki with the coding guidelines, and the QA team, when something is submitted to be included into Koha, the QA team is checking, does this proposal respect the coding guidelines? Next, a responsibility, documentation manager, which is responsible of writing the documentation. Another responsibility, translation manager. So we already talked about it this morning. Another one, installation, documentation manager, packaging manager, live CD, newsletter, etc. We can create new roles at any time. There is nothing is written in stone. So if there is something important to do, we can add it. Twice the same slide. Okay. So who's who? The last team that was elected in April. So congratulations, Argentina. The release manager is Thomas. Release maintainer for the old 3.12 version is Kyle from USA. For 3.14 it's Fridolin from France. For 3.16 it's Galen from USA. The QA team includes many people. Maybe you remember this morning we said that we had the first QA person that left after 2 months, then another one that left after 6 months. Now we have a strong QA team with Catherine that is here, with Jonathan that is here, and others me here, others are not here. Documentation manager is Nicole from US. I think she will die with this role on his goals because she's documentation manager since the beginning. The translation manager. So I said it's a matter of people first, and second, it's a matter of tools. All those people would face some difficulties to work without proper tools to work together. Because remember, we have people from New Zealand, we have people from Australia, we have people from Europe, we have people from America, North and South. So there is always someone working on Koha, but there is also always someone sleeping. So we have to have online and offline tools to communicate, to discuss. Some tools are made to discuss face-to-face. Well, not really, but in real time. And some tools are made to discuss, to have a long-term discussion. First of all, the website, Kohacon14. Second, the mailing list. There is a mailing list for developers and one mailing list for users in English. There is also a mailing list in Spanish. Why? The people yes, right. There is also a mailing list. Everybody knows about the mailing list for South America? Here? Yeah? So there is a mailing list in Spanish South America? Yeah? Spanish speaking? Yeah, but not. Yeah, okay. And we talked during the lunch about moving to kohacommunity.org mailing list. So maybe you will move soon. The next tool we use is the IRC. Do you know what is IRC? It's chatting. It is a chat. You can join us at any time on the channel called Koha on this URL, irc.otc.net. If you have a question, you'd like a quick answer, you can jump in and ask a question. Just be careful, sometimes you will see no one, or only a few people. Another tool is our wiki. Everybody knows what is a wiki? Yes? Wikipedia, it's famous. We have our own wiki. So you will probably find a lot of useful information. Just 2 points. Be careful to check that this information is still up to date. Sometimes we have outdated information in the wiki. You can see since when the page has not been updated. And if you see something written in a page that has not been updated since 2010, maybe it's outdated. And second thing, there are many technical things on the wiki, so for a librarian it's not always very easy to understand what is written here. The next tool is the bug tracker. So that's where you will declare anything you see as a problem. It can be a bug you have found, or it can also be a feature you'd like to see in Kohacon. So it's not only for bugs, it's also for features and enhancement. Another one that is a really technical one, which is Jenkins. Jenkins is a bot that every time something is changed in Koha, runs a lot of tests and give a result saying, okay, all my tests are okay. Or sometimes he says, hey, the test number 1002, etc. Now is wrong. Before it was true, now it is false. There is a problem. Fix it. That's very, very important for open source communities to have such server that is continuously checking. This morning, Thomas said the test coverage jumped from 46% to 52%. He was talking about Jenkins, in fact. So we know that roughly 52% of the software are covered by the test. Ideally, we should have 100%, of course. The next tool is dashboard.kohacon14.org. If you want to contribute or see what has been contributed recently or since a long time, go to this website and you will get many interesting information about the status of Koha. Who has contributed a patch recently? Which are the 10 oldest patches? How many patches have been validated recently, etc. Next, last one is the translation website. First, it's a matter of people. Second, it's a matter of a tool. Third, it's a matter of a workflow. So I will explain now how things are changed in Koha, how the workflow we defined to update Koha. Since this morning we use a word that maybe you don't understand it mean, we use the word patch. What is a patch? A patch is a piece of code that says into the Koha source code, in this file, at line X, we are changing or adding something. And in this other file, in this other line, we are changing, adding or removing this line. Okay? A patch can fix a bug, add a feature, it changes something to Koha. Some patches are only 2 lines, or even 1 line, saying I remove this line because it's useless. But some can be thousands lines long, changing many files into Koha. It all depends on what the patch is made for. So, let's suppose you are doing a change in Koha. You are doing a patch, right? How would you do that? First question, very important question is what you made useful for everybody or useful just for you? That's a very, very important question. Because if it's interesting for you only, or only a few cases, a few libraries, then you have 2 options. Either you don't submit your patch and you keep it for you. You can do that. Or the other option is you try to write your patch in a way that people not interested by what you are doing will not see anything. Okay? There are some mechanisms to Koha to say, let me think of one. For example, there is one parameter called independent branches. If you set it on or off, you get a different behavior into Koha. Okay? You can use this kind of behavior to add a feature that will interest only academic libraries, for example, but will interest no public libraries, or almost. There are mechanisms. So, when you have an ID and a first batch, either it is just for you, keep it for you, or it is for some libraries, do it the right way to submit it, so people not interested will see nothing, and people interested will use what you have made. And if it is okay for everybody, submit your patch. Another question, there are language things, there are mark things, and various functional situations. Language and mark is a very, very big deal when you try to change something that has a consequence on the staff or back interface, because you must do it the proper way to be able to have something that can be translated. And if you are doing something related to cataloging, you must take care of all marked flavors, otherwise your patch will not be acceptable. Anyway, your patch will always be welcome, but you may get some feedback and you may have to improve what you are submitting or change what you are submitting, because if you suppose it's your first batch, maybe you will get feedback from people saying, well, this is wrong, this should not be done that way, etc., etc. Please update, improve, and submit again. Sometimes, and it's a shame, but we must admit this happens, sometimes we get no feedback, and no one will be interested by what you are submitting, and that can be very annoying for you. I personally think it's a problem in our workflow, but for now I must admit that sometimes you will get no feedback on the patch, and the patch will just stay here and wait for someone to have a look at it. So, how do I submit a patch? First, create an entry in Bugzilla. So, do you remember bugs.kohacon14.org saying, well, I have seen this problem, or I want to add this feature, and describe what you've seen. Attach your patch, supposing you made one, saying, okay, I have described the situation, the problem or the new feature, etc. I attach the patch, and now, please someone test it. Someone will test and put what we call a sign-off on it. It means a librarian, usually a librarian, hopefully a librarian, will test the patch and say, okay, I have tested, I can reproduce the problem, or I agree with the situation before. I have applied this patch, and I check what happened after, and this piece of code is doing what you are saying it does. I can reproduce the problem, the feature I've tested before and after. First step, second step, third step. Someone from the QA team will have a look at the source code itself and say, okay, it's okay or it's not okay. It's not repeating, it's not using our coding guidelines. It's not okay. And if there is no problem with it, the status will be changed to paste QA, and the release manager will push the patch into Koha. And you will be added to the list of contributors of Koha. You will be one of the 250 people that have a piece of code in Koha. That's also very important to note that once you have a piece of code into Koha, you become a co-owner of Koha. It means you have some copyright on the software. At the end of the process, the release manager pushes the patch into Koha. Important note, the release manager has the final cut. And you can request more testing or can even reject the patch, saying, no, I don't want this one because of this problem. Once the patch has been pushed, someone can test, check, and close the bug. This step is almost never done. What happens if there is a problem in the one step of testing or QAing? The patch will be set to does not apply. Your patch does not apply anymore because someone else did something else that is in conflict with what you did yourself. And fake QA, it means the person who tested or the QA team could not reproduce the problem or could not see the problem is fixed, or the QA team says your patch is wrong from a QA point of view. And in this case, the status is set up to fake QA. Some things that I regret about our workflow, but honestly, I must talk about them. It can take time to have a patch pushed. Often more than 3 months, sometimes less than 24 hours. When there is a security patch, for example, it's applied very, very quickly. But new features can take a long time, and Jonathan has some patches that are waiting for more than 1 year, more than 2 years. Another thing that can upset you, if no one seems to take care of your patch, maybe no one take care, sorry. We are all volunteers here, and the only thing we can do is try to convince us it's important. Sometimes we will succeed, sometimes we will not. I also think it's a problem. If your patch is refused, please don't be upset. If no one takes care of your patch, I think you can be upset. But if your patch is refused, it will never be just because I am the king and I refuse your patch. Okay? I am the release manager, I say no. No, there will always be a good reason and an explained reason. Sometimes you will disagree with the reason, but that's the release manager has the final cut. If he says no because of this and that, here, and read and try to do another way to do it, or try to convince that the release manager missed something, etc. New contributors are added every year. Okay. I'm almost at the end of this presentation. So number 208, I checked yesterday, so it should be a valid number. 208 patches are waiting for sign-off. So they have been submitted, they are waiting for someone to test them. 56 patches are waiting for the QA team to have a look at them and saying it's okay or it's not okay. And 50 patches are waiting for being pushed by the release manager. This is an unusual high number. I think it's because we're dealing with the conference and not with pushing patches, right? Usually, the queue of patches being waiting for being pushed is close to 0. It's between 0 and 10. I said that already in my previous, some previous slides. There are some weaknesses in the Koha community. I must be honest, I won't say we are the best and everything is shining, etc. One of the problems is, one of the weaknesses is that we have no funding. We are mostly volunteer or self-funded. My company, for example, we dedicate Jonathan half of his time just to do community work. But no one is paying for us for doing that. If someone knows where to find $1 million US, please tell us. We would be very happy to have an important funding, a large funding, to be able to have some companies dedicating people just doing community work. But there is none, and since years, we are praying for some to come, but nothing happened. Another weakness I see in the Koha community is decision taking and decision implementing. There are some, I said this morning, Koha is an old lady or an old man. Inside, there are a lot of things that should be cleaned, a lot of things that should be upgraded, etc. And our workflow that is very, very democratic, very, very all around the world and talking, it takes a long time to decide things, and it takes also a long time to implement what we have decided. For example, there are some decisions that have been taken, for example, black, it will mean nothing for you, but just for example, the black decision has been taken 3 years ago, and it's still not completed here. Okay. Another weakness, I think this is really a personal opinion, is the long-term view. Because we have so many patches waiting, we are always looking at the short term. Yes, we have many things to test and to include. So I think we lack sometimes a long-term view. There are some pieces, but as we have no funding and we have difficulties to take decisions and implement what we have decided, and in fact, probably we have no long-term view because we have this problem, because we have this problem. It's hard. There is no long-term view and no 5-year plan for Koha. Our next challenge is, I said that in my previous slide, in fact, there are many new technologies that we would like to implement. Almost everybody involved in the community agrees with most of the technology we have chosen and we would like to implement. Problem is that we must find a way to implement them really. Next challenge is to clean code. There is not so many parts, there is probably almost no part of Koha that is 15 years old. But you see, we have a lot of pipe, yes, a lot of things that have been added, and now clearly we need to clean. One challenge is that Koha is used by larger and larger libraries. We said during the Koha history that the first version had problem with 1/3 of a million bibliographic records. That's why we switched to Zebra, and now we are facing libraries that have more than 3 million items, and we reached the limit of what Koha is able to do with more than 3 million items. The largest library we support has 1.5 million, but there are larger libraries than this. And we also have consortia that are larger and larger. How many libraries, Nate, in your largest consortium? You have an idea?
That's at 72.
72? That becomes big consortium, and in US there are consortium with more than 100 libraries.
There are many, yeah.
Yes, many. So we must improve this aspect of Koha. Next one, better coordination to do all those things. But we are really willing to face them because we are optimistic by nature and we want to do some fun things, and doing this kind of thing is fun. Thank you. Any questions?
Paul, you made the point that there are parts of the Koha code that are fresher must be more up to date than any closed-source project of a similar age.
You're probably right. The difference between proprietary projects and an open source project like Koha is that closed source software, most of them, they write one version, they fix it, and they don't evolve for 6 to 10 years, where they sell it, and then they build a new software, and they do it again. With Koha, we are in the process of continuous improvement. So,
which is a better process.
From a user point of view, it's definitely a better process because you get the software. If a library like Nelsonville in Ohio that is using Koha since version 3.0, it is really, from a user point of view, from user perspective, it is not at all the same software between 3.0 and 3.16. There are so many things that have changed. Is there someone using Koha since a long time here? No? But believe me, someone who started Koha with version 3.0 and is still using it today, it's not the same software. But internally, many things we have added things, and now we should clean. Maybe the difference between closed software and open software is that our problems are also open. Another question? So, thank you. Thank you.
Hello.